The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Y'all ready for this?
We are back. Southern Nevada Sports News on WWDB.TV, TV.com. How you doing, guys?
Too bad. How you doing, Jeff?
Two is dads in the house.
Hey, back again. Thanks for having me.
HS Football FB.
FB.
702 Twitter.
Yep.
Podcast especially for high school. And then in the house,
Kenyon Oblad, quarterback from Liberty High School.
Nice. Beautiful. We've been trying to get this gentleman on the show for about a year. I know we caught you during football season last year, so it was a little bit tough. But how you guys doing?
Doing well, man.
A little bit warm,
man.
Dealing with some monsoon weather in Las Vegas.
I'll take the overcast, man. I'll take the overcast.
You
Any
like
day
it?
of the week. Oh, yeah.
I always just kind of feel like just rain or do something, man. Just kind of, whatever you're going to do. But they're talking about flash flooding tonight, so strap it up at the house.
Just be safe. Don't do nothing silly.
That's right. So, you joined us, Tua's dad joined us a couple weeks ago.
Good. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah. Man, I think we're going to be having you on a lot more. I love the concept, what you're doing. And, for those of you that don't know, Southern Nevada Sports News was actually started to actually get exposure for young athletes. I met this gentleman at of all things, the Sevens, Vegas Sevens.
Rugby Sevens.
Rugby Sevens. So we started talking. I invited you on the show then. And then you guys decided to do your podcast and branch off a little bit. But we're going to be picking back with you guys and working together.
We look forward to it.
Me and Brett Price, he's the other co-host for us. We want to do some daytime at the game type of stuff where we're going to shoot some video at the games and kind of meet some players and do some coaches and nice. I think this is something we can really do to get some exposure for Las Vegas. So
hopefully, yeah.
Young man, tell us a little about yourself. First of all, tell us how you got into football to begin with.
Okay.
And then what's kind of kept you from where you're at right now?
Okay. Well, I'm moved to Las Vegas when I was about 5 years old, and right when I got here, my dad put me in. He started a youth football team called the Henderson Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a pretty good team. Yep. And so I started when I was about 5 years old. Playing in an 8-year-old division. I tried to quit every season.
True story, huh?
Yeah, true story. From about 5 to 8, I tried to quit every year. My dad wouldn't let me. And I've just been playing ever since. Started quarterback since I was about 8 years old, or 8 or 9.
That's when you started liking it? Once you started
doing
the quarterback?
Yeah.
Or were you playing from 5 to 8?
Bench. D-line, just doing whatever.
Just drink these shakes.
Yeah.
Get bigger.
Yeah, and then, I started playing quarterback. That's when I really started to like it, and just doing that ever since.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So you went to middle school at
Del Webb.
At Del Webb, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Del Webb, is that when you were actually still playing in the NYet?
Yeah. I played Henderson Cowboys until I was until 8th grade. Okay. And then went to Liberty.
Nice.
Started high school.
Nice. So, did you play freshman? Did you play freshman? Did you go right up into?
Oh yeah, I played varsity my freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to do that.
A lot of people gave Rich some jazz for that. So, starting a freshman. I remember his freshman season. You guys played Hamilton that year.
Yeah.
And that was good. I think you started that season off against Basic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we played Basic first game.
So how do you feel? Obviously, this season you're going into your senior year, which seems like been ages because you've been starting your entire high school career, but as a freshman, the night before that first game, how'd you feel, and how do you feel compared now? You got Saguaro coming up, huge schedule, but then you got 3 years of accomplishments behind you.
Yeah, so my freshman year, I just remember the day before, and on the bus ride to Basic, I was just sitting there just like, wow, this is real, this is actually happening. And then, but as soon as it started, actually the first play of the game, I remember because we got the kick return, and I was like, I just want to run the ball the first play. I don't want to pass it. And Coach Morocco calls the pass first play, throw it right in there.
Nice.
But now going to senior season, I just feel like just can't wait to get out there and get playing with the team and showing everybody that what we can do this year.
Nice. So when you're talking about doing it with the team and everything, so Liberty is kind of done a little bit more and kind of pushed you guys a little bit further. So now you're actually playing a couple out-of-state rivals.
Yeah.
Some really big schools. I was just looking at the schedule before we went on. Your first game is going to be a big game in Arizona. Unfortunately, the night that night has become a really big night. With Mayweather and
McGregor the same night. I'm going to vouch for Kenyon and Liberty here and say the better game, the better show, the better fight is going to be out at Liberty's Freedom Field that night. It's Saguaro's a solid team. Obviously, you guys are as well. And all three of the teams they're starting the season with are nationally ranked: American Heritage, Saguaro, Alta coming down from Utah, that Polynesian Classic, which is going to be probably the best overall weekend of high school football Nevada has ever seen and probably ever will for a while. So
the tickets are still on sale. UNLV tickets for that game. It's actually a double hitter on the 9th, on September 9th. So we'll just throw that in real quick. You guys will be playing all to that game.
Yep.
But I was looking at American Heritage. You guys are actually going to go to Florida and play.
Yep.
And I was looking at their schedule. They actually open up against Booker T, which is no slouch. They came here and gave Gorman a run a couple of years ago. Was it last year?
No, it was 2 years ago, right? Yeah. Actually,
gave them a little bit of run, a little bit of scare, and they had to come back from behind, the fourth quarter in that game. But how you feel about that? How you feel about being from Nevada, having the opportunity to go to Florida to actually play a game?
Yeah, well, Florida. Texas and Florida are usually the two powerhouse football teams or states, and we went to Texas last year and we beat the Texas team. So I don't really see a big deal about the Florida team. I know they're good, but I think we're good too. And I think we got a chance, and I think we're gonna go down there and surprise some people.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you guys went to Texas last year and beat Westlake. That was obviously a lot of accomplishments in town from different teams, but I think that's probably one of the proudest moments in Nevada.
You were there,
football.
right?
I didn't get to go to Westlake. I went to Cedar Hill, the Gorman game.
Okay, that's Cedar Hill.
Cedar Hill. I didn't get to catch the game against Westlake, but everybody down here was rooting for it. That's one of the things, personally, with me, I love when you guys were playing Westlake, or in the past when you guys played Hamilton or any of those out-of-state games. You can see the kids, obviously social media, the high school kids are all over it, but they're rooting for it. It doesn't matter if they go to Durango, if they go to Basic, Coronado, Gorman. If you're playing an out-of-state team, they're rooting for you, and they're wishing you to go out there and represent. When you guys did that in Westlake, I think that was amazing. So glad to see you guys are going to Florida, man. I tell you what, you got to give Liberty credit. They fear nobody.
That's right.
They fear nobody.
That's right. So tell us a little bit about some of your teammates. You guys have been. Well, let's first back in. So we all know that if you're playing football for like a career, planning on going to college or whatever, that there is no really time off. So you're training during the off season. You're doing other stuff. So you played in a couple 7-on-7s. One of them was at All-American Sports Park. I actually stopped by there and watched you guys for a little bit. Then the Pylon. So you did pretty well in the Pylon, finishing second.
Right? Yeah. Pylon was the first one. First weekend we finished second and faced teams from like the top team from California and Florida.
Florida Fire. Yeah.
Florida Fire, and then Ground Zero. Can't really remember, but we did pretty good out there.
Yep.
For a team full of Las Vegas kids.
Nice.
That's right.
So then you go to the Adidas tournament, and then how we do there?
Yeah, so we actually took the whole thing. We started the first day of the tournament. It was a 2-day tournament. We went 1-2, and we were just not playing very good. And then the next day we came out and we didn't lose. Or no, we did. We lost one game to the team we ended up beating the championship. So it was a good experience for everybody.
So you're talking about playing, just getting out there. 7-on-7 is a lot different.
It's totally different.
It kind of it shows a little bit more the skill positions. The line is not as much as of a big deal. These guys that you got coming onto Liberty this year, man, how do you feel? How do you feel about the receivers, the backs, and everything you got coming along with you?
Yeah, well, the receivers, most of the receivers on the 7-on-7 team go to Liberty. Nice. Marquez Powell, Terrace Hamilton, Maurice Hampton, and then we also had a bunch of Liberty DBs like Alan Wada and Octavian Bell and Davion Ware, and we all played together and we played some of the best teams, and we were beating them. So that translate anyway over to high school season. That'd be nice.
That's fantastic, man.
Even absent of the linemen in 7-on-7, I think there's something to be gained from doing the 7-on-7. Obviously, the skill positions getting for your defensive backs, getting ready for that coverage and seeing some of the athleticism. But yeah, I think everybody was proud of you guys. Obviously, winning that Adidas, and you guys, the team that won the Paladin, is that Tucson Turf?
Yeah,
and
Tucson
they
Turf.
ended up winning the national one.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
The only team you guys lost to in that pylon was when I ended up winning the national championship for the 7-on-7. So I think that speaks volumes as to what you guys have going on at Liberty.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so what else? I mean, how was the off season? We're 3 weeks away from you guys going back to school now, and I think about that, and as a parent, I'm very happy because I get to send my kids back to school. But I know, for you guys, you only have a couple weeks to prepare. They changed a couple the way that it goes now. They're restricting some of the practices and whatnot. I mean, how does that translate into a player?
Yeah, well, so we've actually been, lifting and conditioning and working for the season since like a couple weeks or 2 weeks after the state championship game last year. So we've been together for a while, but the way you can't practice with pads, and it changes the way you practice, but it doesn't. I don't see it like a really big difference because we still get 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember with pads, and I think it's fine. I think it's a good enough time.
That's good. That's good. So you're ready? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, I've been ready. Been waiting for this.
So you recently got a offer from Western Kentucky. How many offers is that now?
6.
6 offers.
Six
okay.
offers.
And you said what about UNLV? You thought they waited a little bit too long?
Oh man, gotta quote me on record. I thought all the good
Coach
things,
Sanchez, you know what he said? I'm gonna tell you what he said.
all the good
Off the
things
air.
Tony's been doing, and I'm glad he's doing. I'm glad he offered Kenyon. I thought it was a little bit delayed. Could have come a little bit earlier, but I'm glad it came. Obviously, there's a lot of people that would love to see Kenyon be a hometown hero.
Yep.
You got a lot of guys over there at UNLV that are going to be contributing, that are local kids. Obviously, you got a lot of other talented kids from other places, but I don't know anybody who wouldn't love to see a hometown kid go out there and represent UNLV. Although you're visiting Nevada this weekend, going and doing that camp up there. So
yeah,
I can't hate on Northern Nevada like some people. I like it. So either way, if you happen to go one of those 2 ways, you'd have a few fans down here.
Yeah, well, I think either way. I mean, in Nevada, I think anybody's going to root for you. But
yeah.
I'm actually not born and raised here, and I don't really have a alliance, so to speak, with one way or another. So I kind of go with who's winning me money. I'm a sports guy. And in Nevada, the past couple football seasons won me some money. So hey, man, they're my favorite team. But but hey, I think it's great. And I think that you right now you have 6 choices. But by the end of the season, you're going to have 60 choices. So it's I see how it happens. And the one thing that's surprising to me is how these colleges are trying to lock these players in younger and younger.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we wouldn't even get a school even coming to look at our juniors, when I was a kid, so I mean, if you weren't a senior, they weren't interested. They look at your stats, be like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter. So I love it, man. I love the fact that Nevada is now on radar, of players, and they got some good coaches around town that have done a really good job of just kind of showing and like who's around. So
I think we talked about this last time too. Is if you look just even a decade ago, 15 years ago. We were averaging maybe 7 or 8 kids that were going to Division I high school or programs that were playing high school football down here. And last year there was around 30.
Yeah.
So it's the talent. I think the talent's been here. And it's nice. So I have to ask you something. I've been wanting to ask you. So you've been the starting quarterback at Liberty for 4 years. This is your 4th year.
Yeah.
Coach Morocco, obviously, the man's reputation follows him wherever he goes. He's one of the best coaches in the state and has been for a while. So you've been around him a lot. What's the most embarrassing, if any, Rich Morocco story you have for us?
I was thinking about this since you told me before. I
gave you a heads up.
Yeah, I think my favorite memory of Coach Morocco was my freshman year when we were playing Shadow Ridge, and the first half of that game, I think we gave up like 4 kickoff returns for touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Or 3, I can't remember, but yeah, so we came into halftime and he was just screaming at us. And I'm not going to say what he said. I don't think I can say that.
It's a family show.
But yeah, but it was funny because Coach Morocco, the thing about him, he would yell at you 1 minute and then the next minute he'll turn around and just be joking with you.
Yeah.
He's a great guy and I love him being my coach, but yeah, that was weird. That was the second game of my high school career, so hearing him come into the locker room like that, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I think that's probably the best one.
So did he want to fire the special teams coach, but then he realized it was himself, so he was kind of like, how am I going to fire myself?
Falls back on
I've always said that special teams are a huge part of the game, and I think that now people are recognizing like how big it is. I mean, because if you can get a team deep in their own end, you got an advantage.
Yeah,
absolutely. Where they for so many years, man, it was offense, defense, and maybe some guy that they'd spend 3 minutes in practice.
Try to steal a kid from the soccer team. Not anymore. Not anymore. We have some amazing. We've had some great kickers.
Yeah,
great kickers.
Yeah, we actually got a
Positions
great kicker.
invaluable. Well, tell us about your kicker.
Yeah, our kicker's named Dylan Fador. I'll give him a little shout out. He's a freshman last year. He's kicking like 50, 55-yard field goals out there. So
that'll be invaluable, especially against those national level opponents. So
yeah, you should hear more of him this year.
Nice. Good. Well, hopefully he'll be kicking extra points.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to see field goals.
Oh yeah, no, I won't let him kick field goals.
That's right.
You keep him on that sideline next time. I got this.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to give any shout-outs? Any more shout-outs? I mean, you gave a bunch already, but anybody else?
Sure. I'll give some to Chris Lappin, best D lineman in the state, fullback.
He was out at Miami, right, this weekend?
Yes, he was out at Miami this weekend. They actually recruited him as a fullback. He was out there playing like running back type stuff. Yeah,
he's athletic.
He's probably the most athletic person I ever met. He's just 6 foot, 250-pound athletic man.
Nice.
He's a man child.
He's a man child. He was actually on my 7-on-7 team as a D lineman, catching touchdown passes. So
that's
pretty
great.
cool.
Anybody else? Mom and dad?
Oh, mom and dad, of course, yeah.
Please. Your sister's in the house.
Yeah, I'm Gentry Oblad. My sister's in the house right here. She's 9 years old, goes to Lamping Elementary School.
Look at that. Nice. Shout out.
Next star volleyball player.
She's already taller than me, and she's 9. I left my self-esteem at home today, so it'll work out nice.
So she's a volleyball player.
Yeah,
pretty good?
Yeah, she's really good for her age. She's going to a couple camps right now. She's probably going to get started soon.
Nice.
Actual team volleyball.
Well, my sister played volleyball, so consequently I played a lot of volleyball because my sister would be like, hit this to me, do this, and I, you just have to do it, So do you get out and practice a little bit with her?
Yeah, I mean, I actually played volleyball at Liberty the past 3 years. Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, well, my older sister, she's in college right now. She plays volleyball, so.
That's right.
And where does she go to college?
She's at the University of Utah.
Utah. Oh, wow.
It's middle blocker for University of Utah.
You could argue that you have a pretty athletic family.
Oh no, yeah, just Berkeley. Just Berkeley and Gentry.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, we'll be rooting for you this year. We will be out there. Luckily our relationship with Coach, my relationship, I know you got a good relationship with Coach, it really helps us because we want to give you guys exposure. There's a lot of coaches that they don't want us messing with their team or whatever, so it kind of makes it more difficult for us to help in a sense, and not that this is necessarily helping, but we're trying to get the word out, man. We got players here that are good, and we want to build sport ultimately. Yeah. And I can tell you this: I will be at this game. I'm not watching that fight. I think the fight's a fraud, so I'll be at your game.
I second that motion.
Right,
we'll be out there, man, rooting for you.
They're actually, I think, at the Canes on St. Rose, they're playing the game for us after nice. Our game, or they're playing the fight on TVs after the game. So
after?
For you guys? For everybody?
So if you want to go watch
after
it,
your win against Saguaro.
Yeah,
I
go
like
to Canes.
Dude, I love that.
I like it.
That's awesome. All right, well, there you have it. This is Jeff from Southern Nevada Sports News. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah,
we'll be right back. We're going to have the coach from Western Warriors on next, and we'll be right back. We are back. Southern Nevada Sports News on WWDBTV.com. Got a new guest in the house, Western High School coach.
Yes.
Head coach?
Head coach.
Head coach.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Tyler. Sopo.
There we go. There, baby.
Hey, I was really having a hard time pronouncing that.
Right. Yeah. It's a smooth transition.
That's so bad. You know what? I mean, I'm gonna defend myself a little bit. I was a great math student. I was a finance manager
Nice.
or major at UNLV.
Oh, there you go.
And I needed help in my English classes. I could not pass an English class.
Sure.
I remember walking into a class one time and my teacher saying there's a 50,000 word paper due at the end of this.
50,000?
And I went right back and sold my books back. And the fact that I got half, I was really happy. So anyways, and by the way, I wasn't on camera until I got this gig. So hey, I'm all new to this. But got Western High School in the house.
Yes.
Near and dear to my heart, my wife's family, big in Western. My father-in-law actually still lives off Jones in 95.
Oh, nice.
In the original house over there, so
there
right
you
around
go.
the block.
Yeah.
My nephew who lives with me runs track.
Okay.
Practices at Western, so I spent a
way.
lot of time over there.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in. Well, first, let's back up to how you got involved in football in general, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Western.
Football, like playing or
Yep,
coaching?
Just yeah.
Sure. My father and our family, where we come from, football is very important to us. It's near and dear to us because being Polynesian and being Samoan for us, our goal was to get to college. And especially for my family in particular, going to college was the standard because our parents had a vision for us to better ourselves, to better our lives, and just to kind of get things going for us. When we looked at things, obviously not everybody has $30,000 sitting in the bank account and having, all these amenities and luxuries afforded to us. And being one of five, you kind of look at it now as an adult. I'm sitting there thinking, holy cow, how are they going to get not just one, but five of us to go through all 4 years of college? And so for us, my father always told us we're going to get to college one way or another, but it's going to be through a scholarship.
Right.
And I found football because our family has been involved in football for generations. And my older brother played when I was very little. When we were living in California, in Southern California, I watched my brother play, and he just was so ingrained in what was going on there with football that I just gravitated toward it organically. And it was really awesome to just be a part of that, through his life. And I became so into football like him to where when he would play his high school games, after the game would be over, I'd be waiting with a pair of scissors to cut his tape off.
Nice.
Or I'd just be there just to talk with my dad, and we would talk football like crazy. I felt like as a teenager, I was seeing football as an adult or as just, an armchair quarterback would, watching games and stuff. So I found a passion and a love for it, and it just kind of took off from there.
Okay. So then you went from there to college?
Yeah, so my family is from California, in Southern California. We had moved up to Washington and got a little bit better weather, and so that was nice.
More rain, you mean?
Yeah, and we noticed that there was no Pee Wee football team up there like there was down in California. So my father started a Pop Warner League up there,
Great.
giving us an opportunity to play, very similar to the last guest you had on, just creating those opportunities for us to get involved. And so from there, we just kind of grew up through the system, made friends. It's actually kind of ironic because my best friend that I met playing football that I've known for 20 years now just got married, and it was because of things like football that brought us together.
That's great.
And so went to high school. The first chance I got out of high school, I ran down back to California. I was done with Seattle, and I played football down there in Southern California. I was blessed to play on a scholarship and graduated in 2013, and I knew I wanted to coach. And I got into coaching from one of my mentors in college, who was also one of our football coaches. He pointed me in the direction of the local high school, and as they say, the rest is history.
Nice.
I got in as a quarterbacks coach, worked my way through an offensive coordinator position. Then I just got blessed with a head coaching job 4 months ago. So it's been quite the ride. It's been awesome.
Western's lucky to have you. It's funny you mentioned the connection, lifelong bonds you built. I think one of the things that gets missed. We got a lot of great recruits, like Kenyon was here, and so many, but a lot of things that you learn in football and playing football, the sacrifices, the two-a-days, the bonds you build. Not everybody's going to play at the next level. Not everybody's going to play after their senior year. And I can tell you, One of my offensive linemen, he was the officiant at my wedding. He married us.
There you go.
Another offensive lineman was one of my groomsmen. So those are bonds that you know, the stuff
That's
you do
great.
in 2-a-days and through seasons of football, you build bonds and friendships that.
I mean, it's actually kind of funny, you know, because when I looked at my groomsmen line when I got married, me and my wife were sitting there looking at the picture, and every groomsman in my wedding, either I played football with or I did something along the line that had to do with football. You know, other than my brothers. And so my wife kind of joked. She goes, "Oh, those were your high school teammates. Those are your college teammates. You know,
Right.
These are the guys you worked out with." You know, it's just kind of like, you know, it just sticks with you. It's a part of you. It becomes who you are. So it's awesome.
Well, that's good because my groomsmen were all guys I partied with.
Hey, that's awesome too.
But when I got married, I kind of left that part of me, so I
Right,
kind of left my
sure.
groomsmen.
They held all your secrets. That's,
Yeah. So you know the wedding, or at least the bachelor party, is going to be an awesome
the bachelor
time.
party was
you
a
know?
good time.
If they made you didn't party, hey, you know what you're going to get. So
I'm
that's
glad
cool,
that
too.
there was no cameras. And babe, I'm sorry if you watch this. Anyway, nothing happened. But yeah, so how's the season looking? I mean, you guys are obviously in the gym working out a little bit. I mean, how you guys looking?
I want to say we look great, you know, for me, looking in. You know, the cool thing is, and that I keep telling the guys is, hey, we're undefeated.
Right.
You know, we haven't lost yet.
That's right.
You know, and for us at Western, what we're trying to do is we're trying to change not just the culture, but the mindset of how the players approach practices, approach games, how they approach the season.
Right.
You know, the atmosphere being what it is and what it was is every single day we're just finding every single way to change that culture and change it into a winning mentality. And what we're trying to do is just give them those life lessons. And so when we sit there and we're not even looking to the regular season. We're not even looking to our first game. We're not even looking to postseason. That's not our worry. Our worry and what our focus is as a staff and as a school and as players is we're really trying to develop what winning looks like.
That's right.
What winning sounds like in every facet of life, not just football, but being a good student, a good son, a good brother at home, in the classroom. And so we're trying to lay that foundation first before we go out and win football games on the field.
Well, I think that's very needed. You know, it can not just at Western, but in every school. But, you know, I remember a few years back when Western had to forfeit a game because of eligibility.
Okay.
And when I heard that, I was like, wow. You know, I mean, and which to me is more accountability. It's not as much like whether they're good or bad students. Is, hey, who's holding these other guys accountable? Who are the coaches? What coaches are holding the coaches accountable?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a lot bigger than just the students. I mean, this goes deep. I mean, you got to get deep into the families.
Right.
And, you know, Bill and I, you know, we used to, you know, talk a lot about, you know, the guys we dealt with a lot more were guys that have already been to college. So basically, we were just trying to give them those little seeds. We knew a lot of the guys were going to play for us 1 or 2 years. That was it. So we just tried to pour into them as much as we could. I still got guys that confide in me. I still got guys that DM me when they're having issues with their girls, and you know, and I talk to personally.
Right.
So it's a lot more than that. But you know, going into like where you're at, I mean, obviously, you know, you've been around some of these guys. I know you got some good athletes over there. I heard about the big tight end you got over there.
Sort of. Not when he stands next to me. He's a little bit shorter when he stands next to me. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. He's an admirable player. But, you know, with the athletes that we have, you know, it kind of goes back to our mantra that we were just talking about before. Western has always had these type of athletes.
Yes.
And what I'm noticing in the short time that my staff and I have been there is we have to get the kids eligible. And like you're alluding to is forfeiting a game because of eligibility. Who's holding these kids accountable? Where's the integrity? Where's the system? You know, where is that in place? And that's a big part of what we're doing over the springtime. Our main focus was getting these kids eligible. We went from having 76 Fs on our team to less than 10 in the short 4-month span that we've had. And so, I mean, it speaks volumes to our coaching staff, you know, that work with them every single day, that are in there in our study hall, that are in there in the classrooms. We have our coaches randomly drop in on players when we check their attendance records to make sure they are where they say they are and they're not hanging out doing, you know, whatever it is that they're doing, that they're accountable for their actions.
Beautiful.
And so the cool thing is, you know, one of my coaches just dropped in on one of my players, and he's just sitting there in the back, and then he walks in, and he goes, oh crap, you know, he's just super nervous because he walked in 10 minutes late. He didn't have his stuff, and so we was like, hey, we're holding you guys. We want you guys to know that we're here more than just football.
That's right.
And
that's
so
awesome.
that's where we're at right now.
That's commendable, you know, and you know, not just obviously at Western. Pretty much every coach in town, you know, with very, very, very few exceptions, you're doing a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice, you have to be personally involved. You have to care,
right?
And you know, it's one thing, and there's no knock on the schools and the players that happen to be in more, you know, socioeconomically well-off areas. You know,
right.
It's a lot easier to concentrate on certain things when you don't have to worry about other things at home.
Right.
And obviously, I was on for Valley High School, grew up on the east side, and you know, it was, hey, you're gonna take the campus to practice at Freedom Park for football. You know, it's a bit of a sacrifice. So to hear you guys obviously concentrate on, hey guys, it's not just about football. It's not about winning game one. It's, you know, you don't win in the fall unless you're putting work in spring and in summer.
Correct.
And if you're not winning in the classroom, you're never going to even see that field because you're not going to be eligible. So
exactly.
I can't tell you how happy it makes me, and I'm very, very happy that those kids in that program at that school have men like you guys to see that example and say, hey, we don't just care about what you can do for us on the football field. We want to see you succeed in the class. We want to see you succeed as a human being.
Right. And for us, it starts with setting an example, you know, and especially for our kids, they've been through, I don't know how many coaching staffs, I don't know how many people that have come in and out of their life that tell them all these things, and they've kind of developed this defense mechanism as, why should I do what you're telling me to do? So I brought in my staff. I've been blessed to bring in a staff that all of them have played football collegiately, and some of them have played professionally in the NFL, and some of them have had their failures. They all come from different backgrounds, the same demographics that some of these kids have been from. My coaching staff is very diverse.
That's great.
We're probably the youngest staff, but I think our experience recently has made up for those things, so our kids can kind of see, hey, this guy made it from a single parent household, or this guy made it with 10 different siblings in the household because they put the work in, you know. And so just having those real life examples right there for the kids to see, I think has been just so good.
Yeah.
You know, exponentially for the kids to just feed off of and have just that mentor right there that they can ask questions to, because they've been there, they've done that.
Yes.
You know, and so it's really hard to bring in a coach that's only coached high school. And no offense to those guys, I'm sure they do a tremendous job, you know. But for me and my staff, I want to make sure that our kids see that these guys have walked the walk, they can talk the talk, and that if they need anything, they can come and share that with them.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So you had a camp this past weekend.
We did.
How did that go?
We did. It was just a blessing. I got to be honest with you. It was a blessing. Primetime Polynesian came in from Southern California, and it was their first time being here in Nevada. They want to grow, and they want to make Nevada the mecca of what they're doing. When Coach Penn, his name is Penn Talamaivao, and he gave me a call back in February when I first got the job, and it was kind of ironic because, you know, he called me because I was the only coach that he found in Las Vegas with an Instagram account, you know. And so I figured, you know, since, you know, we're living in the day and age of what we're in.
That's right.
So I immediately got all the social media thing. I don't tweet at all, so I'm still learning how to use
Every
Twitter.
once in a while you do. Luckily you tweet back.
It was what I'm saying. I'm learning, so I'm on that thing constantly trying to learn how to figure it out. I was just talking with my brother that, hey, we're gonna figure this out together, man.
Awesome.
You know.
Great.
And so he had called me, and he shared with me his vision on what he wants to do and what they've been doing. I did a little research on them, and we had a mutual interest in growing the student athlete, especially athletically. And they came out and they just put on a show. It was unbelievable, from the music to the energy to the types of drills they did. It was everything based off how a football game is run.
Yep.
You know, and if you were there and you saw the type of energy that they brought, it was just such an awesome atmosphere to be at.
Yeah.
You know, they got the kids yelling and screaming. I mean, at 9 o'clock in the morning, get the kids yelling and screaming is awesome. You know, and just to keep their excitement going through 3 hours of continuous work was awesome. We had Scout.com there. We had National Preps there. We had a couple other people. I know 702 was in the house.
Right.
I didn't exactly see you guys, but I mean, that was cool.
We were there. We got sick. We could stop by. It was the atmosphere was nice, and I like seeing
Awesome.
the energy with the
Right.
from the kids, from the small little kids. You guys had everybody up. Jacob Isaiah, Mormon's
Right.
lineman over there. He was there putting in work, and it did not stay cool.
He's coming on the
Right.
show next week, by the way.
There you
Well,
go.
awesome. Tell him I said hello.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know who he was. And I just noticed that he was sitting down, taking a quick break. So I sat down next to him, just made some small talk, and he told me who he was. And I was like, hey, awesome. I'm glad you're here. Good luck this year. And it was awesome. We had the number 1 and number 2 linebackers in the nation that attended our camp that were there. And so big name players showed up, and our kids, if anything, got to see a shining example of what greatness looks like at that level. And they had a little measuring stick of tempo and what it looks like to move fast, you know, and I want to show our kids, I want to continue to show our kids great examples like that. And so they want to get a foothold here in Nevada because they're coming back in February to hold their 5-on-5 trench battle, which is the number 1 lineman battle in the country.
We got quite a few good linemen in this town.
I mean, I tell you what, we do, and it's amazing. After seeing some of them at our hog tournament that we had earlier in the year, to now to just see what they do, I mean, that's something you guys do not want to miss. You want to be there.
That's February?
February. They have teams committed from up and down the West Coast that are coming. And if you win that, you move on to go to the national championship, which happens to be in Canton, Ohio, the same and you get to compete the same weekend as the Hall of Fame game. So nice. It's pretty cool, to do all that kind of stuff and be a part of that. And I mean, they just have such a huge heart for things. So it was really cool to connect with them and establish that partnership here in Nevada, and we just look forward to growing with them.
It's good to see those events for the linemen. Sometimes the linemen get left back at the weight room while
That's right.
Not with us.
The small guys go and do the 7-on-7, and I hear a 5-on-5 War of the Trenches deal. That's
I tell you what,
nice.
It's unbelievable. Myself and my AD, we were able to go down there to Cal Lutheran to check them out when we first got in contact, and they get after it. I mean, they get down and dirty. You saw a little bit of it during the competition phase at the end there, but I mean, when they strap it on with the big dogs, it's pretty cool. And so with our hog tournament, for us as a staff, we put a lot of emphasis on the offensive defensive line because, I mean, as we know, you got to have a strong front.
Yep.
And it starts there with them, and we want them to know it starts there with them. And, with them being the nucleus of our offense and our defense, we really want them to get exposed, number 1. Number 2, we want them to go against other guys in other competition. Right. So that's why we hosted our first annual hog tournament. And so we had teams from Legacy and Centennial and all the other teams in the Valley that had come out. And actually, Valley was there. Yep. And it was really, really cool just to see the bigs come out and do some crazy things and have some fun. And Legacy ended up taking the whole thing, and they won. And it was a lot of fun with Coach Frank and doing that deal, or Coach John, I'm sorry. And it was just an awesome thing. So we put a lot of emphasis on the linemen to show them, hey, you are just as important and just as vital, if not more important, than our skill positions.
Absolutely.
That's
I mean,
good.
Without them, I mean, there's a reason why Barry Sanders bought all of his linemen Rolexes, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, he knew he wasn't. I mean, this guy's the guy that got sacked for losses more than any running back in history.
Right.
But, okay, so you're not looking forward to any of the other teams right now. What is your main focus? I mean, besides like off the field stuff with these players, I mean, to get them on track, to get their mind on football, and to kind of lose the distractions. I mean, how do you get the guys? I mean, this is the thing. We got kids that are young and they got girlfriends and they're they're dealing with all. How do you get them focused on football?
We let them know that nothing matters when we're out there on the field, when we're in the weight room. Nothing else. It's kind of like they live a double life. Mm-hmm. They have football and then they have school life. They have, Tyler the student, then there's Tyler the football player. Tyler the football player out there carries himself this certain way. Tyler the student carries himself this certain way and does these certain things. And so what we try to convey to our kids is when we're out there on the field, they could be having the worst day possible. Their cat could have died. Their girlfriend broke up with them. Now they have no homecoming date. And then at the end of the day, they go home and their mom's upset that their room's not clean. So now they're grounded, But when they step onto the football field, nobody else knows that. Nobody else cares.
Yeah.
We're there to play. And so we try to keep that in perspective there with the kids, that we are there at ultimately to have fun. But it ain't no fun when you're losing games.
Right.
And so what we want to do is we want to create an atmosphere of competition with our kids.
Right.
And so for us, when we practice, we kick off every single practice with competition, and it could be anything. We try to teach our kids to compete with one another because that's how we grow. That's how we get better. Mm-hmm. And it's everything from a one-on-one to a sack race to, I mean, they got into 2 separate teams and we leapfrog literally 100 yards down and 100 yards back, you know, and the loser has to do push-ups, you know.
Oof.
And so it's just working on competition.
Which is tough, by the way.
I mean, yeah, it sounds fun. And the kids get excited while they're doing it. You know, at the end, it's like, oh, darn, I got to be pushing. I was like, oh, man. You know, they don't know that they just did 50 squats and 50 squat jumps, and then they got to do push. They just got a workout in, you know. Yep. But we want them to have fun competing. We want them to know that this game is, you don't get better unless you compete.
That's right.
And they have to learn, and they have to sharpen each other. And when they're in the weight room and when they're in the film room, when they're on the field, there are so many things that they can do to compete, but there are also things that we can do to make things fun.
Absolutely.
You know, and so not only do I get my players involved, but I get my coaches involved also. For our spring game, to conclude spring ball, you know, the game was tied, you know, in our spring game. And so what I did was I blew the whistle. I brought out the head coach from one team, the head coach from the other team. We had a dance-off.
Nice.
It was fun. And so we got the crowd involved, and then the crowd picked a winner. And it was awesome, you know, just to do that. And the cool thing is that my coaches lead by example because they're always willing. And I love that about them. They're always willing to do what I ask, and they're always willing to sell out for the kids. I tell the kids to sell out for Western all the time, you know, because we're working on developing that type of culture. So if I ask our kids to do it, I expect my coaches to do it at the drop of the hat. And all of them have answered the bell. And so that's been awesome, and I appreciate that about my staff. I love that about them, and it's just exciting to see that they're willing to do things that they wouldn't do if they were in another social setting, you know. It's all about putting a smile on the kid's face and to show them that, hey, I'm game, I can do it, you know, I'm not embarrassed, I'm not too proud, you know. So that's really cool.
You know, stuff like that also breaks down the barriers.
It does.
You know, because you have a player that maybe, you know, he's not too sure about coach and how he is, and then he sees him start dancing. He's like, "Oh, okay, this guy's good. This guy's good too." You know.
Well, I found out through that one of my coaches, actually an offensive line coach, used to be a break dancer.
Oh, nice.
I know it.
I'll take that he won that competition then.
Yes, he did. He did. That's when we found out. He busted those out. We're all looking at it like, wow, look at him go.
I tell you what, man, it is really, Coach. It's really refreshing to see. Hey, obviously, you can feel the passion. You see how passionate you are about this, not just football, but about, you know, being a positive influence in these men's lives, and you and your entire staff. You know, Western's been through some lumps. They've been through a lot, and you're right. You said it. You know, they've been through a million coaching changes, and I've said it for several years. It is probably takes more heart to commit and to work and to be a Western warrior than anything else. You know, they battle through a lot, and it gives me great hope to see somebody with as much enthusiasm and you know, you want to do a good job, and you're not just looking at X's and O's. You're looking at life. You're looking at education. You're looking at, let's build these young men up, and let's make good men, not just good football players. And that makes me excited. I hope those kids, whether they appreciate it now or they might appreciate it later in life, see what a good influence you guys are being for. I'm excited for Western.
Thank you.
Okay, so in what ways can we support Western? I mean, obviously, besides what we're doing here, you know, you got some fundraisers coming up. You got anything else going on?
We do. I mean, we're fundraising throughout the year, and that's part of our thing with our kids. We, like you said, we don't come from a well-off community. We don't come from a community where the kids can provide cleats and shoulder pads and helmets and all these things for them. And so what we try to do is we try to break down those costs for the kids. So we have different fundraisers. We're working on one right now called We Fund You, which is online where the kids send out emails to them, and we work on that. We have a couple other ones also throughout the year. One thing that I kind of piggybacked off of when I was at Bonanza last year was they did an awesome thing called the Lift-a-thon, which we brought over to Western also, and that was awesome for us. And we're fundraising for our kids to have just the simple necessities, not brand new uniforms, not brand new flashy things, but just to have the essentials, things like mouthpieces, things like shoes, like cleats, something to eat before the game, something to eat after the game. And so we're really looking to fundraise for those essentials. Because for these kids, I mean, just to see the smile on their face when they open that fresh box of, you know, Nikes or Adidas or whatever it is, I mean, it's really fulfilling as a coach to be able to provide for these kids who work so hard, that sell out for us. And one of the things I tell them all the time is, you do for me, and I promise you I will do for you. And we will take care of them. And so as we continue to take care of them, part of it also is, hey, nothing's free. So we go out, we fundraise, and we're doing a lot of different things. And throughout the year, we're selling things like candy and jerky and pretzels and concession stand working and, things like bringing in primetime Polynesian. We want to bring in so many different things and do so many different things because we have to establish, number one, a cash flow for us so that way I can continue to take care of my kids, not just in the fall but throughout the year, and then also for things that we think they deserve that are a little bit above and beyond that we think that, hey, they've worked their butts off for. I think they deserve something special.
You mentioned something that caught my ear, being that I'm a man that loves food. Concession stands.
Of course.
Will you be bringing back the chicken plate and the macaroni for your regular season?
Oh, the plate sale.
Or was that exclusive to the Polynesian camp on Saturday?
The cool thing is that I'm Polynesian, so having a plate sale isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Well, I will keep my heart hopeful for that.
I mean, I'm already scoping out the home games here.
We open up week 1 against Rancho. I know you guys have places committed and things like that. We've been blessed to have more home games than away games.
That's great.
Which has been very nice. For us. And I have more than one Polynesian coach on my roster. My brother here, I just hired him to be my freshman head coach, and awesome. One of my offensive line coaches, he's also Polynesian, and he brought it up to me first. That's why we had the plate sale. Hey, let's bring a plate sale. That'd be awesome. So hey,
ask Liberty about that. They've had a pretty successful concession stand at their game since they've been doing the plates and stuff. But it's good. You get a good mix of people out there.
Well, let me know ahead of time. So if I know you guys are coming, hey, we'll throw a plate sale just for you in your honor.
Look at that.
We'll say, hey, Southern Nevada Sports plate sale right here, baby. We'll throw it down.
I love it.
Well, I'm hopeful that you guys obviously are putting in a lot of work. Your coaches, your staff, and the kids, and they've been doing that for years as far as the kids go. And I know Jeff and I both. We really hope that those kids see some success, and obviously they're going to see success. They're going to learn that value of work ethic. I don't think there's anything better than work ethic as far as a valuable lesson that you can take, because that doesn't matter if you go to work, if you're going home. Being a good hard worker is gonna do things for you. So I'm really hopeful for you guys, and I hope you find that success, man.
We hope so too.
It sounds like it's already happening.
I mean, we have a resilient bunch, and like we talked about before off the air before we started, we have kids that have been in this program. I mean, and that speaks volumes. If they're a senior that's been in the program for all 3 years, coming into their 4th, I mean, what that says to me is that they're not quitters.
They're committed.
They're committed. They are set on making this thing right, and it's easy to quit. It's easy to be a bystander. It's easy to, trash the program, and it's easy to do all those things when you're losing. But for these kids that have been in the program, and I have quite a few that in my senior group that's been there for all 3 years going into their 4th, to see them and look into their eyes and just see that they are still willing to sell out for the school, for each other, and for the team. I mean, it tells me so many things, and so that's why I get excited every morning.
That takes a lot of heart. You got a lot of good kids out there.
Yeah.
So let's go some social media.
Sure.
Okay, so tell me the Instagram. I got you on Twitter, Western High School HS_F ball football.
Right. We had to get creative with that because WHS is pretty easy. I was like, the other one. So I learned on Instagram. I just kind of shifted my own personal one to our Western one, and I posted on that all the time. And I'm learning that Snapchat is a big deal.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm learning geo filters, and I'm learning all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, and I don't use them.
That's
but
great.
I mean, I'm pretty simple. You take a picture, you post it up there, But my wife actually makes fun of me all the time because it took me about 3 days to put up our Facebook page, and my wife whipped it out and better in 20 minutes, and I was like, wow, it's so out of touch. So I'm working on that, and like you said, social media is so big nowadays, and I mean that's how we got connected was through social media.
That's right.
And to reach out to our alumni group, especially to reach out to other people where my coaching staff and my players' families are a lot out of the state with them having families in California and Nevada. I have ones with families that are outside of the country. It's pretty awesome to see that social media can reach out to them, and they can watch football games and watch their workouts and see their sons and nephews actually participate. So it's been really, really cool.
I love it. So what is the Facebook page? Is it
the Facebook page is Western Football Alumni, and I forget the actual name of it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But if you look up Western,
I'll find it and get it.
Yeah, if you look up Western High School football and alumni, I mean, it'll be right there. It has the Chief logo on top of it, and we're posting on there constantly throughout the day, and all depending on what we have going on.
There's a lot of notable alumni from Western. Western was a powerhouse high school in
Right.
the Valley for many years when it was a little bit smaller, and and it would be great to see some of those alumni come back and contribute to that campus and that school, because they could use it, and they're deserving.
The cool thing right now that we're showing our kids right now, especially right now, is Lawrence Guy is playing right now. He just signed with the Patriots, and we're trying to work something out so we can bring him back probably for homecoming or something like that. So our kids can see, a real live, in the flesh. This is a guy that played, did it all, went to Arizona State, kicked butt. If that's your dream, there it is right there. There's your dream in human flesh.
You can do it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
We're doing that for them also.
Okay, you want to give any shout-outs before we go?
Oh, shoot.
Don't forget your wife.
No.
Don't forget your wife.
Shout out to my wife. What up? No, I'm just kidding. No, my wife, Brianna, she's just been so great. I tell her all the time when I come home from practice, thank you for letting me do what I do. Thank you. Right. When I first got offered the head coaching job, I slammed down the table at the principal's office, and I was like, yes, we're going to turn this thing around. We're going to make it happen. And then I instantly thought, I did not even ask my wife. It was cool.
Boy.
So I went home. I took my wife out to dinner. And my wife was asking me, so how'd it go? And so I'm just very thankful to my wife. We're expecting our first child here. Yep. Thank you very much. We're expecting our first child here in the next couple weeks. So just having all that happen, right? Wow. That's why I'm just so thankful to her. And she's just been just a trooper and awesome. So I'm thankful for my wife. Just want a quick shout out to the Western Warriors. Dr. Cortez, I'm just so thankful for this opportunity. I mean, to have a supportive administration like they do, and Chancellor Davis, and just so many others that have been there, it's just been really, really good for us.
Well, I'm hoping I'm gonna make a call tomorrow, and I'm hoping that you can thank Friendly for it next time. Because I've actually talked to them over there in the past about helping you guys out, and I'm actually going to make a call to the GM tomorrow.
I'd love that.
And see if they can at least put some money in it, put the banners up that they had in the past.
Right.
And maybe,
I'd love to. I mean, we're going out there. My staff and I, we've gone out there, and we're doing a second wave. I mean, we got Firehouse Subs on board. They're following in our vision. That's awesome. We got Freddy's Burgers, in there. And so we want a local, ones that are in our custom. And so big one that we're bringing on is Applebee's, and all those kinds. I mean, we're really trying to create a small town feel in a big city like Vegas. So it's awesome. We're excited. We're looking forward to it. So
all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
And we're going to have you on again. And he offered a pizza party after that first win. So we'll hold him to that.
Yep.
Anthony, Coach Ray.
That's right. That's right.
High School Football Podcast. So we got a pizza party. You get that win.
So thanks again to Western High School football coach Tyler Tuiasosopo.
That's okay. That's okay.
You know what? I tried.
Right back. Let's do it again.
And then to Tua's dad, of course, from HSFB 702, which stands for High School Football 702. And we are Southern Nevada Sports News from WWDBTV.com. Thank you.